Um, Thank you, Wendy, for starting the recording. I just dropped a message, y'all, if you haven't seen it, that this session is going to be recorded. And we know sometimes being recorded, students are afraid to participate. So just know that in this recording, your name and photo is hidden. So if you do decide to share out, please know that your information will be hidden in the session. So don't be afraid to share your information. But as I was doing my introduction, I was saying my name is Liliana and I'm adjunct counselor. And I honestly, I'm just happy to be here with you all, happy that y'all decided to come because I know it's the end of the semester, the finals are here. And so, you know, you've made it this far, you give yourself a big hug, a round of applause. I really do mean it. We're actually gonna go through some of the services that we provide at Sac City, but I'm also gonna introduce Wendy to introduce herself and we can get started from there.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us. I'm the nurse from Sacramento City College, and I'll be sharing with you all the services that are available to all of our students throughout the district. We also have several of our nurses from the other colleges present. So welcome. Thanks for joining us. And hopefully you'll walk away from this presentation with some resources that you can really use and know how to access.
Thank you, Wendy. And so we're actually going to get started with a question. I know y'all weren't ready for a quiz, but welcome. You're in a quiz of one question that it is not graded, but hopefully y'all can engage in this conversation of how do you define health and wellness? And also whoever's with us today, feel free to like drop where you're representing. Are you Sac City? Are you ARC? Are you from Wholesome? Or CRC? So if you want to drop where you're coming from, feel free to drop it. And yeah, and what classes are you taking too? And so if someone wants to start us off by defining what health and wellness means to them, feel free to raise your hand or unmute yourself. I hope we have someone that decides to share. Or I can do my counselor hat and model. As a student, for me, wellness was honestly just trying to eat right. And I said, try to eat right. That was my understanding of wellness as a student, and trying to exercise here and there. I actually used to play volleyball and basketball. So I would try to do that here and there, which was hard with school. So Ashley, would you like to share?
Sure. So for me, health and wellness means to take care of not just my physical body by eating right and exercising, but also my mental health, which also ties into exercise because I feel better when I exercise and that's how I release stress. And then also like my spiritual or like higher self. So that way, like I'm more well-rounded and better able to handle like my workload, plus being a mom, plus being a student.
Yeah, wow. Thank you so much for providing that and sharing your experience and your insight of what wellness and health is, right? So you said so many key things of being a mom, but also how like physical health is connected with your mental health. And honestly, Ashley, you should give this presentation because you said everything we're going to go over as well. But anyone else who wants to share out before we move forward? One more person would be greatly appreciated.
Remember, this is a personal thing. What health and wellness means to each person is different, so there's no wrong answers.
Pamela on the chat put in being able to fully participate in the things I want and need to do. Which, yeah, absolutely, right? Like fully participating, like being fully cognizant, both mentally and physically, right? For all the things we want to do. There's so much to unpack and all that, but absolutely that kind of statement, you know, defines at least some of our wellness, right? Is like, if I can execute something I am planning to do, then, you know, I do have some level of wellness.
Yeah, thank you, Hector, for reading that and for catching that in the chat. So yeah, moving forward with you all and how you define wellness. I think it was the first person who shared out all these components make up wellness. And you're all spot on. It really is wellness and how you define it. And although there is a definition, a formal definition of wellness is, you get to define that as you move forward and you learn about these different supports that not only Sac City provides, but the greater community. But wellness is an active process through which people become aware of and make choices towards, and more to be a more successful existence. So that goes to that comment earlier that someone was able to fully participate in the things they need to do, right? They're able to successfully participate and exist in those things that they need to do for themselves. Wellness is also a conscious, self-directed, and evolving process of achieving full potential. Wellness is multidimensional and holistic, encompassing lifestyle, mental, and spiritual well-being, and the environment. Wellness is positive and affirming, and it is composed of these 6 different dimensions. That is emotional, social, physical, academic, financial, or someone else would say financial and career, and as well as spiritual. So those are the overall 6 dimensions. And so as students, I think someone said it, of being a mom, having to be also maybe the role of being a daughter. So there's all these other things that go within the 6 dimensions. So I'm not going to read them all. Hopefully you all can see this and just know that you'll be able to access this presentation. And again, it is recorded. So I'm not going to read through all the different aspects within the dimensions. But one of the key things within career and financial wellness is child rearing, is household management. Balancing your work and leisure goes into your financial wellness and career. Your social cultural wellness really does acknowledge your family, your understanding of community welfare. Your spiritual well-being is your belief system, or in that higher being or higher purpose, or just understanding your life satisfaction. That can be something that goes along with spiritual wellness. Your academic / intellectual wellness is just lifelong learning. So being in school actually is part of your intellectual wellness. And it's not necessarily only happening when you're in your classroom, it's happening outside of the classroom as well. Intellectual wellness also includes creativity. So if you like art and you're able to take on that process of creating something, know that that's actually part of your intellectual and academic wellness. Your emotional wellness as well as includes intimacy, meaning your relationships, your friends, again, families included within that. Interdependence, expression of your emotions, all these things, including stress management, which is key as a student. And then physical wellness, which includes regular physical activity, medical awareness, and diseases and prevention of those. And so the list goes on, but definitely wanted to highlight those. And then at this point, I would like to welcome Wendy back to the screen to further introduce the resources available through Los Rios.
Thank you, Liliana. So nurses think about the 6 dimensions of wellness in everything that we do. And when we went remote, we tried to figure out what was the most important thing that our students would need access to, since we were not going to be on campus with our clinics open. So we've come a long way in combining our services across the district so that every Los Rios student will receive the same level of or access to the services on campus or from the campuses. And so I want to go through the website because it can be a little daunting, and each college has its own website. And I think it'll be helpful for you guys to actually see those websites so you recognize them when you need to access them. So this first slide is at the district level. It's the District Health and Wellness Services site, and you can go there and access each one of those campuses and their health and wellness sites. Okay, go ahead and go to the next slide. This is an example of one of them. Of course, this is Sac City's, and you can see that it's set up with the sidebar and then the different services throughout. Go ahead and click on that first one for me. Yeah, let's see what we got there. See if it'll go to one of the sites for us so you can actually see it. Okay, so this is the actual site. If you would scroll down slowly, you can see each one of our services with a click area so that you can go quickly to one of the services. Keep going down. All the way down, and then there's some on the sidebar. All right, and then go back up to the top of it, if you will. Our contact information is over to the right. Those work, even though we're remote. You can call. If we don't answer, you leave a message and we'll get back to you as soon as we can, usually the same day. That this setup is the same on each of our college campuses. Okay, so let's go in a little bit more depth. Go on back to the slides. And next slide. There we go. Okay, so how do you reach a nurse? First of all, what do the nurses do? What can we do for you? So our job is to help you evaluate any health situation that you have and help you decide, do you need to see a doctor or can you take care of yourself? Is there something you can do for yourself to correct this issue that you've got? It can be anywhere from I've got a rash to I need immunizations for a program that I'm in. I've been exposed to COVID. What do I do? I mean, whatever health question you have, you can access a nurse for. And the way you do that in this remote environment is through our LCCD Health and Wellness Patient Portal. It is new. Many of you who have insurance recognize what a patient portal is. You basically sign in and you can make appointments. You can go ahead and go to the next slide and I'll show you what the inside of it looks like. If you'll see at the top, there's the different tabs. So you can make an appointment. You can fill out forms for a specific appointment that you have. We can send you messages securely. And because health information should not be sent through email. So the patient portal allows us to send and receive health information in a secure environment because you have to sign in. It's secure to you only. We can send you educational things. So say you have a particular health condition that we're going to send you some self-care instructions for. Maybe it's athlete's foot. Who knows what it is, right? I'll send you, after we talk, I'll send you the instructions on how you can help yourself. And that would be in the education part. And then there's an upload. So if I need in order to help you, I need some documentation that you have on maybe your immunizations from before or TB results or something like that. You can upload those right into here and I'll receive that. All the nurses and this is district wide. All of the nurses can see this and we all work from the same portal. But when you make an appointment, you can choose your campus and see your campus's nurse. Okay, go ahead and go to the next one. And please, if you have questions about these, no question is minuscule. Please ask me, okay? Because I'd rather you get the clarity on these things as we go. Okay, the next big thing that we have. So first, you can access your nurse still. Second is we now have free to all Los Rios students telehealth. Telehealth is access to a physician or a therapist. So and it's available 24/7. You sign up through one of our sites, you click on it, you go in, it's going to ask you a few questions about, where you're, what college you're at, and then it will ask you what you want to do. So you can see a doctor for a prescription, or maybe you need labs. They can order your labs for you. They can give you treatment right through the phone. And there's also telemental health, and that's 24/7. There's two branches to that. There's what we call Talk Now, where if you just need to talk to somebody right now, you're having an issue and you really need to speak with somebody, you can go to Talk Now and they'll connect you with somebody to talk to. We also have short-term therapy, where you get so many sessions with a therapist. You can choose which therapist you want. You can look on their site and they have the bios of all the different therapists. And if you feel like you would connect with one more than the other, you can choose that one and get some therapy for maybe anxiety, maybe you're depressed. These kind of things are very common right now with our situation with COVID and all the things going on in our environment, that I definitely suggest that if you're feeling like you need somebody to talk to, please access this. And once again, this is free to all students. Okay, next slide. Any questions on telehealth or on accessing a nurse? Give you a minute. You can unmute yourself if you'd like to talk.
I had a question, Wendy. I saw previously there's a student that's attending both Sacramento City and Folsom Lake. If they're attending more than one, how should they approach, or which college should they choose to be able to get services?
Wherever they are originally registered, I believe is where you would do it. I think when you register for more than one college, you have a primary, but they should be listed. If you're talking about telehealth, they should be listed at both colleges. As far as accessing a nurse, you can see any of us. It doesn't matter which college. Does that answer your question, Hector? Okay, good.
Yes, it does. Thank you.
All right.
Sorry.
Good question. All right, Campus Well. Campus Well is a online publication. It's like a magazine online that has very relevant health topics that are geared towards college students, things that college students typically want information on for health. I strongly encourage you to look at that. Once a month, there'll be new articles that come up. There's some specific to each college. So sometimes we have things that are going on for your campus in regards to health will be on your specific colleges, but you can access any of them. And it's just a good way to help you know that you're not alone. Other college students also have these same questions and same issues. And there's some really good advice on there. So I would suggest that you peruse that and see what you think. All right, next slide. Mental health. This has probably been the biggest in our remote environment. A lot of people are feeling like they're isolated. They have many different feelings that are going along with what's going on and don't really know how to handle it. So we made sure that we included services that would support you in different ways. So I already talked about the telehealth. So you can get Talk Now, or you can get individualized therapy, short-term therapy. But we also have our own campus therapists. There are several of them, and they will see you for a total of 12 sessions. It's by phone, and they can help directly with you as well. Now, they're not on during the summertime, but they'll be back in the fall. We will also have several interns, so there should be plenty of openings for students. The way you access a campus therapist is you make an appointment with an academic counselor first. They will assess whether or not there's other issues that would help with your stress or anxiety or depression, like rearranging your schedule, whether or not you need basic needs like food, housing, those kind of things, before they would give you the referral to the campus therapist. So they make sure that all that is done first, and then they'll send you on to the campus therapist.
And then, sorry to interrupt, Wendy. There was a question asking, are these 12 sessions by semester or annually?
By annually.
Thank you.
Weave. Weave is another partnership that the district has. We have an advocate from Weave, and Weave is for people that are in a violent situation, either emotionally, physically, and need some assistance with that. So we have our own advocate. She is normally assigned to each campus 1 day a week. So Sac City's was Monday. I don't know what the other campuses are, but they can be accessed in this remote environment at any time. Okay, Campus Well, we went over that. That's the online publication. MindWise is another one that ARC implemented, but all of the students in Los Rios can also use it. It is on our websites, and it's a self-evaluation of your mental state and emotional state to help you ascertain, do I need help or do I not need help? Very good application there. Health Journeys is another one, and that one is for guided meditation. I've used it myself. It's excellent, and it's very specific to common problems that students have: stress, depression, anxiety, prioritizing. There's even one, I think, on procrastination, but we never do that, right? Yeah. So try it out. If you've never done meditation before, this is a good way to learn how to do it in a safe environment at your own pace. So I encourage you to do that. And then on each of our websites for mental health, we also have crisis resources. So if you are feeling like you're going to hurt yourself or somebody else, or you're just at your end and you need help right now, we have crisis lines. We have a crisis text line if you feel more comfortable texting versus talking to somebody. There's also Sacramento Mental Health Urgent Care, and that's on Stockton Boulevard. It's across from UC Davis Medical Center, and you can walk in there and get help immediately if you needed to. Any questions on the mental health?
And just it's just to clarify, students don't need insurance or anything like that in order to access these resources.
That is correct. All of these are free without insurance to current Los Rios students. Okay, next slide. Okay, so this is I just wanted to show you the examples, or examples of what they look like on our website. So this is the Health Journeys. This is the one I was talking about, guided meditation. And as you can see there, there's one for sleep, there's one for depression, grief. And grief is a bigger issue than we think. It's not just the loss of a person, but it can be a loss of our normalcy. I know all of us are feeling that. It could be the loss of your support system. It could be bigger than just somebody dying that you know. Okay, so grief is a bigger issue. Stress, anxiety, and panic attacks, etc. So this is an example of what Sacramento City Colleges looks like, but ARC, CRC, and Folsom Lake also have this same page. It just has their logo on it. All right, next page. Okay, so we provided all these, but you still need more help. Maybe you don't have insurance and you really need to find a doctor near you that will take you. Or maybe you're looking for a new place to live. Or maybe you need food. You're getting low and you need to know where food pantries are or anything like that. So each of our campuses is connected to this search engine called Aunt Bertha. Each one of our colleges has its own name for it. Sac City's is City Hub. Then there's FLC Hub, ARC Hub, and CRC Hub. When you go ahead and click on Aunt Bertha down there, let's see what it looks like when you first go on it. Is it gonna let us do it? Oh, yep, there it is. So you put in your zip code. Liliana, go ahead and put one in there. And now you have a selection of things at the top that you can find in your area specifically. So that if you just want to highlight the health one, if you see over to the left, you can look for dental care, health education, medical care, specifically mental health, reproductive health, and vision care, and it will guide you of where to go. And you can also get their contact information there, and with their hours, what insurance they take, everything is on there. So you'll see these cards for each one. So behavioral and community services is one of them, and you can see over to the right is their contact information, their phone number, when they're open, all that stuff. There's also a way to save those for yourself, or you can send them to somebody by sharing them. You can filter by something more specific if you want to. Up in the left corner, there's personal filters, income. It's a pretty cool tool. So maybe you have children, so you would add that on there. Maybe you're a veteran. Maybe you're undocumented. There's help there. Foster youth, there's specific things for foster youth. There's a lot on there that you can filter down to find the specific resource that you need for whatever health issue you have. Any questions on that? And the link to that is on all of our websites, all the health and wellness websites. And I believe City Hub is also on the front page of SEC. I don't know if it is for the other colleges. You'd have to look at your health services. It's not nursing.
Let's see. Surprisingly, I'm not that great at Googling.
So if you scroll down, you'll see it on your left-hand side. All the way down. There it is. City Hub. Oh, up a little bit. That blue box. There it is. Okay. Very powerful search engine. All right, back to the next slide. If there's no questions on that. There's also various information that you can get that each college has put on their websites. Health alerts for us would be in this environment, where to get reliable COVID information, how to get a vaccine, where to get tested, all those things are on there. And we try to keep those up to date. We also have on there a tab for TB testing and immunizations, and that is for if you have a need for a TB test or an immunization or a titer for a program. Like I said before, we're remote, so we can't provide those for you right now, but there is a list of where you can get those in the community and their prices and their contact information. All right, next slide. And some other additional help would be like student health insurance. We do not offer student health insurance through the colleges. However, I have some information on there if you wanted to get it for yourself. We also have, of course, information on cessation of smoking, drugs, and alcohol. So there's always help for that. All right, and next slide. I just wanted to point out before I finish here that on each of our websites, on the left-hand side is this menu. And there are other things that are not offered through health services necessarily, but do address health needs that you can get to. For instance, there's basic needs. There's a site that talks about housing and food and those kind of things. That we have a dental clinic on campus that does teeth cleaning and exams. You can access it here. Cosmetology, you need to feel better about yourself. They can do your hair and nails for you. It's a great service. If you've never done it, be brave. So I just wanted to point those things out for you. So I hope that this wasn't too much information for everybody, but rather an explanation of how to get to the services and what services are available to you as a student. And we highly encourage you to access them, share it with other students, let them know that there are services that are free to them. We haven't left you. We're still here. We're still here for you. Any questions? Do any of the nurses on have any comments or anything to add?
No, Wendy, I think you pretty much covered what at least I usually cover when I'm talking to students and employees about what we have to offer. So good work. As
Thank you, Pam. Pam's the college nurse or one of them from ARC. Appreciate that. Okay.
I did owe that too. You did great. Thank you. You shared great information. So thank you.
Excellent. That was Michelle, the nurse from CRC. Okay. Any other questions, comments? Do you feel like we're offering enough for you? Is there something missing that maybe you want us to look into for offering for our students? There is one that I didn't go over, and that is reproductive health or sexual health. So STI testing, pregnancy testing, those kind of things. We are not offering those on our campuses right now because we're closed, but we do have resources for those. So please contact your nurse and we'll get you connected.
What I'm curious to hear too, if students don't have any questions, is, and you can drop it on the chat, like, is there a resource that you didn't know was available to you that you now know is available to you? Because of anything. So what I like to share with students, that I actually was a student at ARC and then transferred to UC Davis. So if anyone's from American River, yay! Even though I work for Sac City, I definitely love both campuses, but I definitely have a bias for Beavers. And now this is recorded, so it's now it's out there, now it's official. But point is, as a student at ARC, I definitely remember walking by like the Health and Resource Center, and I actually went in there a couple times. But point is, I went in there to help for student leadership, but didn't actually use their resources because I didn't know. And so hopefully y'all, is there a resource you learned about today that you would suggest to someone else or use for yourself? Feel free to drop it on the chat or unmute yourself. If not, it's all good. Y'all made it here. You got the information you need. And yeah, someone, thank you for dropping that comment. I didn't know we had any of these resources, so that's good to know. Thank you so much for your honesty and sharing that. And someone else is sharing, it's very helpful. Many resources I did not know we had before. Great to know we had all these opportunities. I already started to look into these myself. Thank you. So yay, that's awesome. I'm glad that y'all are dropping in the chat. I was like, oh my gosh, hopefully, like, So I feel it though. It is the end of the semester. Y'all made it to this point. So I think if it's okay with Hector and Wendy, we can close out. The students can have their time away from the screen. I can take time away from the screen too. So anything else y'all want to add or before we close?
Yeah, thank you all the students for being available not only for this great informational session, but also interacting with us in the chat. I see one of the nurses, Pamela, was mentioning follow your college on social media, and I would say absolutely, right? Not only does the Davis Achievement Program have its own social media through the Davis Center, but a lot of our institutions share a lot of this great information on social media. Although, it might not be that cool to follow your institution, it is cool in one way to be able to get access to all of this information. And more importantly, being able to share that with some of our other students, right? Like I'm mentioning, or I'm seeing that some folks didn't know that we have dental services, and yeah, that's great. And thank you, Wendy, for letting us know. I might take up the cosmetology events as well. Not only for my hair's gone long over the over the pandemic, but I would also love to do my nails and see what the students are being able to come up with. So absolutely, please follow all of us, all of your institutions on social media, because we're also recognizing that that's a space where a lot of students not only look for information, but particularly share that information. So follow all of us and see what kind of resources we have, and feel free to share with other students who might also not have access or might not know of some of these resources.
Yes, thank you all for coming. Really appreciate it.
So with that, Pamela and Michelle, I guess you aren't here. Anything else before we close out? Just wanted to acknowledge you all too for being here. Thank you so much. No, I'm good. Okay. Well, thank you again. I think we said thank you so many times because we really do mean it. We are greatly appreciative for your time. Hope you have a beautiful end to your semester. Know that the Davis Achievement Program is also here to be of support. I was going to add our information onto the chat, and I'll stay on here a couple minutes in order to, if anyone has any lingering questions. I'll also stop the record, or actually, Wendy, can you stop the recording since we're ending the session? But I'll stay on here if anyone has any additional questions. I know that sometimes being on Zoom and a big room of people you don't know can be hard. So I'll stay on here for any additional questions that someone might have. But again, thank you again. Hope you have a great end of your semester and a great start to your week, because it's Monday.
Thank you for your time.